Hi, I'm Jeff Bornstein. Welcome to Laugh After War. I am your host, along with Miss Kimberly, my co-host.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to more Laugh After War. Hello.
Coming up on 4th of July. You excited about that?
I am. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be fun.
1776. Boom. Look at that. Right? 17, you know how many years that is? Get the calculator out later.
Okay. That fast in my head.
Right, okay. And I noticed your nails. Look at that.
I know.
Look at that.
I had to do my
patriotic.
Yeah, my patriotic nails.
And how many nails you got done with the little flags on there?
4.
Is that like, was that planned like 4 for 4th of July?
Absolutely.
It's so cute. Well, I'm super excited to have our first guest on the show.
Me too, yes.
Two reasons. A, because she's our second veteran, female veteran that we've had on the show.
Super excited to have her.
Right. And so she was a Strategic Air Command post controller in the Air Force. Her entire job was war games. How cool is that?
I know.
Remember the TV show War Games? 1994 thing it was, right? War Games, they blow shit up, right? Or kind of, but not really. It's pretend blow shit up, right? And so now she's a comedian whose act is about being kicked out of the military for, wait till you hear this. I'm going to let her tell you.
Yeah, let's let her tell us.
Please welcome Vicki Wagner. Hey, Vicki.
Hey, Jeff. Hey, Kimberly.
Hey.
How are you doing today? Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for being on our
Thank
show.
you. I hope I'm your first gay veteran, I hope.
Oh, that's why they kicked you out, those bastards. I knew it. I knew it. So I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna get into that. But where are you from originally?
I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
Chi-town.
That's right.
Cool. Okay.
I'm so happy you know that.
Right. You know why? Because I had a buddy in basic training. He'd always say, "I'm from Chi-town." I go,
That's exactly
what's shy?
right.
What are you, shy? And you're 20, you don't know the verbiage. You're shy? Like, no, man, I'll kick your butt. I'm like, I get it. Okay, I get it. You know, bang, bang, right? So from Chicago.
Yeah.
So what brought you to California?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but I mean, I was in Phoenix before I came here, and then my mother actually kind of wooed me out here in 1998.
Oh, wow.
And that's how I ended up here in California, but a little bit further south in a city called San Clemente.
Yes, beautiful out there.
Oh, you guys have heard of it?
Up San Diego. Yeah, beautiful out there. Yeah, expensive.
Yeah, it's where Richard Nixon lives.
Yes.
It's the West White House. That's what they used to call it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know. Okay.
Because he used to stay out here almost as much as he stayed at the White House.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
so they used to call it the Western White House.
Oh,
so
nice.
My mom always used to say, if it's good enough for Nixon, it's good enough for me.
Nice. I like it.
Nice. So you're out here in L.A. and did you go into you served in the Air Force?
That's right.
The Air Force. So did you go into the Air Force out of Chicago or out of L.A.?
No. I've only been here since 1998. So you mostly go in the military right after high school because unless you're super desperate, you're not going in when you're in your 30s, into the military.
We had a vet who quit high school to go right into now. I'm like,
oh really?
Bravo, yeah.
Well, I'm not that old.
Right.
I wasn't even born yet. Okay.
You look good for Vicki.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. My 60s. It's the LA plastic surgery. Right? That's what's going on.
I am smiling.
Yeah.
I'm pissed. No, really, I'm pissed.
Yeah. No. I went in out of high school. I graduated in 1988, and then I actually, the Air Force had what's called the delayed enlistment program, and so you're kind of like signed up for the Air Force until they put you in there, so you can't get in trouble or do anything. And I went in right out of high school, and I went to basic training and all that. And in the Air Force, you go to Lackland, Texas.
Right.
And so I went in April of 1989.
Okay.
Is when I joined the military. And the funny thing, and I'm sure you guys have heard this, how people in the military get their job.
Right.
They give you all these job descriptions, and they're like, "Oh, see which one you like, right?" I'm like, "This one sounds super exciting, right?"
I want to be the general of. That one's taken, right?
I'm like, "This one sounds super exciting," and it's just like, "You will work with the top command in the military. You will be blah blah blah." And basically, my job was command post controller, which you're exactly right. We played war games. My entire job, and I had a real military job. Like most people, especially in the Air Force, don't have a real military job. They work at the supply station or the grocery store or they're secretaries. Now, even those are all in support of the military, most people don't have a really direct access military job.
Sure.
So if you've seen the movie War Games, you'll see.
It was an awesome movie. I loved it. Yeah, right in NORAD, which NORAD is close.
I've never been to NORAD, but I've been to the SAC Underground, the Strategic Air Command Underground. It's 40 stories below underground with 200-foot high screens with all of our missions and everything. Wow. But even where I worked at the command post, we actually had red phone. All the generals of the base and everything came into where we worked, and they did have their red phones. That is a true thing.
I tried to get in. I was stationed. My last duty station was Fort Carson, Colorado. It wasn't far from NORAD. We tried to get in, no Army boy, get away.
No,
it ain't
you can't even get in NORAD unless you have a top secret clearance.
Right. Well, and I had a SI clearance. So no Army
The
boy,
funny
get
thing
away.
is,
You were
it's
Army.
funny you say that because even in, because it's at Offutt Air Force Base, it's in Omaha, Nebraska, right?
What is it now?
Offutt Air Force Base.
Oh, okay.
That's where the SAC Underground is.
Okay.
And so we went there, because that's our job, and they flew us over there on an old airplane. You know how if you've flown on a military airplane that doesn't have any insulation and you have to wear earplugs, and it's
C-130,
freezing cold.
Hold on.
Old, they have old, seats in there from
Use the
airlines.
bathroom, pull the curtain,
Strap
right?
you in like that.
Yeah, you have your earplugs it's so loud you can't hear anything. So we flew out there, and the funniest thing is when we got to go down there, it's just exactly what it looked like. You're going into an outhouse.
Well, I was just going to say, it's that you got your own Andy Gump, right?
Yeah, so like we went, when we went into the down, it's so secretive. It's like, it's literally, it looks like an outhouse, but that's the door, and then you go down. You have to take 3 sets of elevators to get down there.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
That's one happy crap. Yeah. Anyway, so, so you're, did you go overseas and serve, or where'd you go?
No, what happened was, it's unfortunate for me because I wanted to go all overseas. I did not pick anywhere at CONUS, continental United States. And then, of course, where did I get sent? Like Mississippi. Okay, hello. It's like, I got your gun right here, soldier.
Well, you don't know, Mississippi could be overseas to some people. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's overseas to me, especially from Chicago, because they still think that the Civil War that they won. I mean, they just took down the Confederate flag down in the South. Come on,
right.
2015. They still think they won.
So let me ask you this. So you're playing war games, but for real.
Yeah, for
real.
real.
For real. So was there anything at that time where maybe you had a thought, this is scary, like you don't even, I mean, it's got to be different when you have, you're one-on-one, you're like, you got the enemy in front of you, and you could go bang, bang.
Completely different
but
than
now
the guys on the
now
ground.
it's your job, like, I can kill millions of people by one push of the button. Right. Was that scary, or what was going through your mind?
Well, first, I mean, and I do commend all the guys that were hand-to-hand combat, because you're right there. I mean, you're going to get someone shooting at you, you're shooting at them. That's a completely different scenario than how we had it. I worked on a B-52 bomber base, and basically, we had 6 aircraft at all time that were on alert status that were loaded up with nuclear bombs, and then we had 27 aircraft that could be generated to alert status, and that's what in my job we did. We used to test our base without warning. How fast can you generate these aircraft to get up and going? Because in a time of war, that is what is most important. Can our base get it together fast enough? Can the munitions guys get it together? Can the guys that work on the planes get it together? Everybody has to collaborate.
Get your drills going, yeah.
And that's why you see the whole group of generals with the red phones, because they're all in charge of the different things on the base. So basically, people think that, pushing the buttons, that's first of all only on missile bases. But second of all, the officer and enlisted, and it has to be an officer and enlisted, must be far enough apart from each other where their arms don't touch each other. So I can't reach over and touch you because we have to be able to turn the key at the same exact time. That's for missiles, okay? For aircraft, the difference is it comes down from the JCS, Joint Chiefs of Staff, that we are going to war, right? And we get what's called a warble tone. And then we get a coded message that comes down, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, whatever, and we have to go through this big book to see what plan we're going to run. Nobody knows the plan we're going to run before that, no one. And so what we have to do is decode the whole entire plan, and then what we do is once the aircraft, of course, they're going, the ones that were already generated to alert status, most people think, oh my God, someone's going to get a nuclear bomb. First of all, let me tell you right now, because I saw White House down last year and announced that won't happen, people. That will never happen because the pilots don't have what's called an unlock value to unlock the armed nuclear weapon. There's no way anybody could steal a United States Air Force nuclear weapon and set it off, because it has a code that must be put in, and the only person that could give the pilot that code with the people in my job, the command post. So basically what we would do is we were the ones that, at the same time push the button, just like you said, but that was just to get our base to get going on
unless you're John Lithgow and you have a director behind you, it ain't going to happen,
That's
right?
exactly right. It's not going to happen. So when I saw White House Down, I'm like, this is 2014, White House Down. I'm like, do people still really think that, there's a nuclear weapon, they can detonate it? No, the pilots on the aircraft can't go rogue and detonate that bomb unless they put in the exact code, which is a code like this long, it's like 20 characters.
Well, I always like to ask.
So now rest assured, America, rest assured,
Get it right, Hollywood.
That's right.
Write your shit
No
right.
one's going to steal a nuclear weapon and detonate it,
So I always like to ask, what was the toughest thing about coming home? But you never really left. So that said, what was the toughest thing once you got out of the service, once you got out of the Air Force? Did you have any, no pun intended, any war mind games going on here? Like, I wonder if I did any Who did
That sounds like a really
I mean,
stressful
it could give
job.
you
Well, but
PTSD in a different
like,
sense,
okay,
right?
so you know I had a top secret clearance, right? Yeah. And we had like what my category was category 12 NATO secret, right? So we had a super high clearance, like barely 4% of the entire military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines had that. Yeah. So I used to get sent for like 7 years a thing that I'd have to sign that I could not disclose the secrets.
After you were
so
out.
like every
year I had to sign one.
After you were out.
I know that if I disclose these secrets, because you know when I was in the Air Force, you know I got kicked out for being gay.
So that was
And you know I actually was the whole entire thing is they said because of my high clearance I could be blackmailed. And so I was a threat to national security. That's what it says. So they threatened me with 5 years in prison in Leavenworth for that because I could be a traitor to my country. Like what gay person?
For being gay?
That's right.
Yeah.
So they didn't even prove I was gay.
Well, it makes sense. I get it now.
They never proved I was gay. They kicked me out for a homosexual act.
And 3 days ago, what passed?
Yeah. Gay marriage across the land.
Hey, right?
Yeah, but more important for me is a couple years ago when they passed Don't Ask, Don't Tell is obsolete. You know, like that was my moment of like cried my eyes out, like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Because I was on the board of directors for gay veterans in Chicago, and I've done a lot of things for gay service members. So it's like there's no difference. It does not impair my ability to do my job. I mean, they kicked me out for kissing a girl. That was it. I didn't. You know.
Well, you know what was the G.I. Jane? You know that whole thing, that one scene where Demi Moore is. They thought they're trying to blackmail her. She wasn't gay to begin with. Right.
They never proved I was gay.
Right.
So.
Right. But there was a couple guys when I was in service out of country, and we knew they were gay, but we never. I've got a lot of gay friends. You're one of them, and it's a big deal, man. Live and let live. You know. You know.
Well, there's an entire book on all the gay service members who have been like at huge levels of. You know, it's called Conduct Unbecoming. By Randy Schultz. If you ever get a chance to read it.
Randy Schultz. Okay.
It's like 700 pages, and that's how many they've documented at that point, and that was like in the 80s.
Well, what I was saying is that even life after war is just not about life after war. It's about how do you handle yourself, and how has what you learned in the military, what have you taken from that and brought into your life today?
I think anybody, I mean, honestly, I'm one of those people that believes that society is so messed up right now that everybody should have to go into the military after high school.
Amen.
Like just like Israel. Because I think the kids are so screwed up today and they're so disrespectful and rude and they don't have any.
Well, they're like this.
Yeah, well, not that, but they're just like, F you. Like, you know, I had some lady, I was driving, I had some guy that flipped me off because he did something wrong. He's like, you know, B-I-T-C-H, you know, like, and I was like, oh my God, people are so rude these days. So I think that the military can help a lot of people just with their, you know, conduct, you know, discipline, you know, morale, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it builds you up. I mean, military does build you up to believe you're a very proud person. You know, so of course you take away something. I mean, I ended up being in for 2 years before I got kicked out. And, you know, I loved my job. I loved being in the military. You know, I was in Texas, Washington, and Mississippi.
You think you would have stayed in if they didn't kick you out?
Not 20 years. I think I would have stayed in maybe like 6 years tops.
Cool. Awesome.
But I mean, I was in, Operation Desert Storm was going on. And I was supposed to be deployed to Spain at the time. And then unfortunately, I broke my leg like 1 week before I was supposed to go. And they said, you can't go because you have to be what's called combat ready. I'm like, I'm never going to see combat.
I am. Put me in a chair, put a
I'm going
monitor on
to
it.
be in a room
Hey.
with big monitors all around me and tons of computers figuring shit out. I was like, okay.
Well, if you had to sum it up in one thought, well, you were going to say something? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask her, because you were so secluded in like a room like that, did you make a lot of friends?
Well, basically what it was like, you know, we worked 12-hour shifts. And so it was just us and an officer like at night. That was it. We were the only two people on duty at night if you worked nights. And we had to work really weird shifts, like for like 1 week we worked days, the next week we'd work nights. It was just horrible, you know. And so, but during the daytime, they would have the people who were also in, not where we were in the command post, because you got to remember when you're working where I lived, you have, where we worked, you have to pass the checkpoint of the security guard with the M16, and then you have to go up some stairs, another security guard, security police is what they call it, security police with his M16, and then a big, you know, hallway that was like this bulletproof hallway. So there was nobody who could have access. I mean, we couldn't even have windows where we worked. Wow. So we were so secluded, and we were actually in the bomb wing. We were actually in the commander's bomb wing, where we had our offices, but it was so secured. You had to pass 3 security police before you could even get into where we had to have a badge, a need-to-know badge. Because, you know, in the military, if you don't have a need-to-know, you don't have access to that. You could have a top-secret clearance, but if you don't have a need-to-know, you're not going in there.
And that's the only thing that Hollywood gets right.
That's it. You're exactly right. The need-to-know badge is the only thing they did get right. And so, no, there wasn't that many people. So during the daytime, they would have like the receptionist and the secretaries and stuff like that. But that was during the day. But at nighttime, it was just the two of us.
So you were kicked out for what? You were kicked out of the military for what?
I got kicked out of the military for being gay.
For being gay, and then you went into comedy, and your whole act is about now.
Well, when I first started doing comedy, I started in 2002. But when I first started doing stand-up comedy, my instructor said, "You got to do your act on this because there's nobody else in the country doing a routine on this." I'm like, "I don't want to do my act on this. This is depressing, and this isn't funny to me." And she said, "No, you've got to stand aside, right? You got to niche yourself." So I started doing my act on being kicked out of the military for being gay and just telling jokes about it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that was when Osama bin Laden was still around. So I was like, you know, making jokes about them and just like before gay people were allowed in the military. And so I actually got known for doing my routine on that back in the day. And then it really propelled me nationwide. I mean, 3 weeks after I started doing stand-up, I was on the front page of the Los Angeles.
You won an award. I read in your bio you won an award on that.
Congratulations.
I won an award for that. You know, and the American Legion gave me an award as well. And I've headlined for the American Legion. I've done shows for veterans. I've done shows for gay veterans. I've headlined across the country.
We'd love to have you on our show. We have a tour, and we'll wrap it up with this. We'll love to have you on our show. We have Operation Bravo, where we entertain the troops.
Yes.
This is both local and abroad. So it's a 90-minute show, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk about it later. But we love to have you on our show.
I'd love to come on your show, definitely, because there's gay people serving in the military, and straight people actually like my gay material better than straight people.
Awesome. Is there anything that we didn't cover today that you want to give a shout out to any of our veterans that you can maybe help them?
Well, I do want to give a shout out. And first of all, I want to thank you guys for having me on, especially as a gay veteran, because there's hundreds of thousands of gay veterans. I mean, they've said that they've kicked out over 200,000 gay veterans.
I don't even want to. I can't even fathom
I mean, and that's cost the country like at the point I was keeping track, it had already cost the country $700 million to kick out gay people out of the military for doing their job, people. And so I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to have a voice and be the face for gay veterans. And also just anybody out there, you could do whatever you want. You can join the military. It's now since President Obama was elected, he pushed that through, that he ended Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And that if you want to serve your country, you have the right to do so. If you're a proud American who just won, I come from a long line of my brother was in the Navy, my grandpa was in the Marines, my uncle got his arm blown off in the Korean War. So I mean, there's military people in my family, and so that was an option for us. Like, hey, go in if you want to just get out of your town and see, do something different, explore the world. The military is your option, and you can do that.
You've been an absolute delight and very, very informative. We appreciate it.
Great information.
And honored to have you on our show, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Vicki.
Thanks,
awesome.
Kimberly.
Thank you so much, Vicki.
If you'd like to be a guest on our show and you're a combat veteran, please check us out on the dog tags. Hit Life After War on emPOWERme.tv.
And folks, up next, we've got a gentleman here with us, and he said before he joined the service, he was only interested in two things.
Two things? That's four. Two things.
Stay tuned to hear what those two things are. And you're watching Life After War on emPOWERme.tv.
My name is Helge Helgeson. I'm a retired hospital corpsman 3rd class from the USS Puget Sound, and I want to give a shout out to all the U.S. military personnel throughout the world. And you're watching Life After War on emPOWERme.tv.
Hi folks, my name's Toby Vance. I'm a former sergeant with the U.S. Army, and you're watching Life After War on emPOWERme.tv.
Hey, old Air Force Sergeant Price with a proud shout out to my brave son, Army Chief Warrant Officer 2, Miles Price, stationed in the ever-lovely Camp Humphrey in South Korea. And you, my friend, are watching Life After War on emPOWERme.tv.
Hey, I'm Jeff Bornstein. Welcome back to Life After War on emPOWERme.tv, along with my lovely co-host Kimberly. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back again.
So, this is so cool. I respect all of our veterans, I do, but I have a special love for these guys because, and I've got a story, and I could share it on another show, but he was interested in two things at a very young age, chess and filmmaking.
I know, that's pretty interesting.
I wonder what Bobby Fischer's thinking. Oh, never mind, he's gone. Anyway. At the age of 17, he enlisted in the Army, then he went airborne, hoo-ah.
That's what you were in. You were in the Army.
Well, yeah. I was just hoo-ah. I was a leg. That's what they call a leg. See, when you're airborne, when you're airborne, you get to blouse your boots, and I was a leg. Squeak, squeak. Anyway, so I'm happy to have him on our show. Jordan Martinez, welcome, buddy.
Hi, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jordan.
Too bad you're a leg, man.
Right.
Why don't you want to go and get that beret?
I wanted
get
to.
Those wings.
I've got a great story. This is about you. It's not about me, but I'll just share a quick story. Basic training in AIT, and I wanted to go airborne. I wanted to be a ranger, SF, blah blah blah. So we had these two SF guys with the green berets and 182nd guy.
They look sexy.
Yes, a little bit, the beret man, bam, you know. Hola, treasure mon chéri, bang bang. What did I just say? I don't know. So anyway, so he was doing this thing, and I said, I really want to be, you know, and they wouldn't let me. First of all, when I went in, I wanted to go airborne. I wanted to go SF. They said, you can't. You're colorblind. I said, what? Right?
That's
and
killer,
right there.
yeah.
I said, and so I thought I'd get cute.
Logo.
I thought I'd get cute. I'd be like, but I could see the colors that other guys can't see. Yeah, nice try, Bornstein. It ain't gonna happen. So we get done. I'm in AIT. Long story short, we're doing our 30-mile road march, whatever the hell it was, and I'm talking to one of the SF guys, and he says, and he says to me, you know what, man, you are one of us at heart, dude. And he gives me his beret with the flash on it.
Whoa.
I still have it to this. 30 years later, I still have it. I was like,
that's pretty cool.
Isn't that cool, man?
That's awesome, yeah.
That's as close as I ever got to it.
Heck yeah.
But enough about me. Let's talk about you.
Yeah,
82nd,
sure.
101 for, what were you?
None of
chicken?
them. I was reserved the whole way.
Okay,
so
okay.
immediately when I was 17, I joined and was here at the LA MEP Center. And I didn't know I wanted to be airborne. I actually picked a POG MOS, which is person other than grunt.
Okay.
And it was you know.
Is it still 11 Bravo? I mean.
No, the grunts are 11 Bravo,
Right.
you know, 19 Deltas, Cavs. Those are, you know, what we call like the grunts. And then I chose, you know, the MOS that was giving me the most amount for, you
Well, like
know,
what Vicki
the
was talking
20
about
grand
earlier,
bonus. Yeah,
you get to pick and choose, right?
Yeah.
But you did have to go to Benning and Bragg, though, right?
I did, yeah. I went to Fort Benning for
jump
airborne
school?
school, air assault school.
Oh, nice.
And I might actually go there for jump master school one
for
day,
you, man.
too. So that would be super cool.
So are you just static line right now, or do you have any free falls? Or?
No, I don't have any free falls, all static line. So what he's referring to is, if you don't know, like when you jump out of airplanes and aircraft in the military, free falling is, you know, what you consider skydiving, and the other one is hooked up to a static line where you jump out with hundreds of people, so to speak.
Stand up, hook up, shuffle through the door.
Exactly, yeah, with all your
right
stuff.
Out and count to 4, right?
Yeah, it's
That
fun.
just sounds so scary because I'm so terrified of heights.
Well, we can get you a lower chair.
Yeah, you might not want to go airborne if you're terrified of heights.
So you're in the Army. You finished basic. Where'd you go basic, by the way?
I went to Laxon Jackson. Fort Jackson.
That's where I processed it. I went to Jackson and then.
You're from Carolina?
No, born here. No, but I went to Jackson in process there.
Okay.
Then I was over at Fort Gordon, basic NAIT at Fort Gordon. Yeah, communications.
Nice. I was about to say that.
Intelligence, which I can't even spell the damn word. Anyway, so moving on.
Sweet.
So you go to Benning, Bragg, and then.
Well, I went to Jackson for basic training. It was cool, it was awesome. I'd never been to the East Coast, so I was like really happy to
And you're a California boy, yes?
Yeah, I'm a California boy. I'm
There's
here.
5 of us left, man.
Yeah.
Bam, right?
Especially around here, there's everyone's out of towner. So I went there, I got my my basic done there, went to Fort Lee, and then I came back here and I was like kind of like wanting to go active, so I was really trying to press to go active, and they had like a 6-month thing where you had to wait until you could go active back in 2008. And so I was like waiting, and eventually I heard of this unit that was an airborne reserve unit, and it was close to me, and I was like, yeah, like let's do it. I want to jump out of planes. Like I wasn't like cool before I joined the Army, but when I was in it, I was like, I like this stuff.
Did you ever go out of country at all, or?
Yeah, I went to Afghanistan.
Oh, so you're in Afghanistan. So you're in Afghanistan. You're getting,
okay, yeah.
So you're getting your ass shot off.
Yeah, okay, so I was in Afghanistan in 2012.
Did you jump in or did you drive in?
No, never. We flew in and dropped off, and never did any combat jumps or net jumps into Afghanistan.
No rappelling down or anything like that?
No. I've been in plenty of birds and helicopters and stuff like that. I went to air assault school, where is the rappelling school.
Right. Were you fast rope or?
No, just the
okay.
yeah. Okay. I didn't really do anything other after air assault school with ropes and stuff like that. More jumps out of planes.
Okay. So once you got to Afghanistan, then what happened?
There's a picture right here. What I was civil affairs. So pretty much civil affairs is like a diplomat. It's like a small political kind of person. Actually, they work with psychological operations. Often they work with special ops, and we do operations to get their government more stable. So as you can see here in this picture, we're actually giving stuff to the children, and we're helping their government.
That's a great picture.
Yeah, the kids they're awesome there. I mean they're very poverty stricken. They're drinking out of black water. It's like I've been to Africa, I've been to Europe, I've been to Mexico, and I've been to Afghanistan. By far, Afghanistan's far worse.
If you go to Van Nuys, it's
Everything.
pretty much like the same. Yeah.
Right?
So you're in country, you have all this crazy stuff going on.
Yeah.
I could totally see how the chess can help you.
Yeah,
Right?
especially
Right?
when you beat officers at it,
Right.
too. They
Oh,
love
yeah.
that when you're a corporal.
Free drinks?
Yeah.
Not
yeah,
quite, right?
free rippets and free...
Right?
Yeah.
And it's a cap, but if you had like Colonel Fisher, it'd be even worse. Oh, Bobby's dad.
Yeah, right.
Nice, right?
You know, no officer likes to be beaten at chess
Right.
by a 20-year-old corporal, you know?
Sir, that was not a very strategic move.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it, but checkmate.
Yeah.
Bam,
I
right?
played a lot of chess in Afghanistan with
did?
the
We played chess
Afghan
on-
people. Yeah.
I played chess all the, when we were in the field. When I don't know if they still call that now, but when I was in, we had what we call reforger, returning forces to Germany.
Yeah.
So we played chess in the field all the time when we're on guard duty. Yeah, okay,
yeah.
no one's come. Well, I'm in the Cold War, right? So didn't have a whole lot to guard. But so you're playing chess and you're doing your thing. And when did it occur to you that you wanted to do filmmaking?
Yeah.
It occurred to me when I was really young and I saw Scarface.
Ah, good movie,
That's
right?
like
Good
your
movie.
pivotal moment.
Nice.
That
Like,
was my
that's it.
moment. Yeah, when I saw Scarface, it really like altered my perspective on the power of filmmaking. And eventually, when I got educated and started, to become older on the world, how powerful media is and how powerful it can have on the effects of people. And in Afghanistan too, like psychological operations, I worked with them, and that's what they do. I mean, essentially they pass out flyers, they put up billboards, and they can't read their own language. So it would have like, a big billboard with like a mine and like, don't touch the mine. Versus Iraq, they're more illiterate than Afghanistan, right? So
Really?
Afghanistan is way like, in the Stone Age, it's terrible.
Third world country.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not all places. Like, I mean, Kabul is like a little
When
bit
I was over in
better.
Iraq and Baghdad, it was third world. It was pretty brutal. I mean, we were flying over in Blackhawks, and if you're 500 feet above, you can still smell the stench. It was brutal.
Really?
Oh, it
Yeah.
smells really bad there.
Yeah, bad.
Shoot.
So you're kicking some ass, and you're over in Afghanistan. And then, how long were you there for, by the way?
I was there for exactly like about 9 months. I had 3 months of training in Fort Dix, New Jersey, and then went over there for 9 months.
What was your
in
scariest moment when you were there?
Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Scariest moments.
If you had to
I
pick
think
one.
one time when I was in a COP and we were attacked,
wow.
and it was a very small base, and we had part of our forces outside the wire, and so there was a minimum amount of people there.
Right.
Oh,
That
so you
was
had like a lot of coverage.
Yeah,
people
and we
protecting you.
we were very
You guys were
thin
locked
on
and loaded
men.
24/7.
Yeah,
right?
that in small COPs like that, they're usually the most. In my area, I was in Kandahar, so it's RC South. And it was close to like wadi canals, similar to like Vietnam. And so they would use these wadi canals, so they could place up IEDs. They could do small arms attacks, whatever,
wow.
recoilless rifle teams. They had all this stuff. Was
So
active.
unconventional. The Geneva
That's
Convention
very
doesn't even
intense.
exist. I mean, it's gone. So you get home and you're thinking about these scary moments and everything.
What was your most memorable moment that just stands out in your mind?
Other than getting your ass shot off.
I think
That's scary.
one of these moments was one of my most memorable because this mission right here was
In the photograph?
it was really cool because the Battle Space Commander actually came out for this mission.
Yeah.
And I mean, I pretty much led this mission right here. With psychological operations that was just finished doing RIP TOA, and so they just came in.
What does RIP TOA mean?
That means like they replaced another psychological operations team, and so I was a civil affairs team, so I worked with them because they were new to that area, and so we did that together with infantry and with the Afghan National Army. So it was a proud moment for being a corporal, to
That's pretty
really
awesome.
push that whole thing and have such amount of people like this come. It was like
huge amount of
it was like
people.
I actually felt like I was doing something good for people. And people will be like, oh yeah, those kids might have just sold that stuff and or given it to the Taliban, but at the same time I can't think like that. That's not my job.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunately true. There's ghost schools there. There's tons of bad stuff that happens.
A lot of stuff that guys come back that don't want to talk about it. Speaking of which, what was the toughest part about coming home for you? Toughest thing about coming home?
Yeah, I think the toughest part for me coming home was going into college.
Making the transition, or
yeah, using the GI Bill. I went to Cal State University Fullerton after when I came back. I pretty much got my AA. Went to Cal State University Fullerton, and it was very different going to school with these people. You know, it were just so different.
The transition
they were
tougher. I mean,
they were just civilians.
Yeah, I mean, they're all civilians.
I mean, you get used to you get used to the saying yes sir, yes ma'am, and then you see that here in the real world. They're like,
yeah, they
you
judge.
just call me a sir, and right?
My professor went up to me and said, "Don't call me sir."
Right?
I'm like,
are you serious?
Yeah.
It's
I'm like, it's a sign of respect. He's like, oh,
Exactly.
it's just, makes me feel old.
And then the women, exactly, and the women
Yes.
like, don't call me ma'am, and she's from the South or Midwest,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like that's
What's
how
up
she's
with that?
right? It's like I don't get it.
It's
Anyway.
like, do you not want me to have manners? I mean,
Well,
Right.
They just
exactly.
call me by my first name. I'm like, whatever,
Yo,
fine.
bitch, fine, okay. I'm just saying, right?
Hey, yo, homie, yo,
Homeopathic.
give me this
right?
say right here,
So if you have to sum it up in one
crazy.
thought,
Yeah.
one thought, how did your service affect your life?
Totally positively, but it definitely came with some sacrifice, of course. Discipline. It gave me everything that I was seeking for in my life. I mean, I didn't never expected to get an education.
Wow.
You know,
How cool is that?
none of my family members could have ever helped me get that education. I would have had to do that completely on my own. And the military gave me, an opportunity at an education, which I'm really grateful for. And I didn't expect to re-up. When I was in Afghanistan, I re-up for another 6 years. So I didn't expect that to happen. But when I was there, I felt that it was the right thing to do. And I don't regret it for a second. Some days I thought I regretted it, but I totally don't.
You're awesome, buddy.
Overall, yeah.
If I could give you
It
some
is.
blood wings now, I would, man.
No, I'd give you some blood wings. How come you're, yeah.
They wouldn't let me, I wish I
Right.
could have, right? I wish I
yeah.
could have, man. I wish I
It
could
just
have.
says you were colorblind.
Was there any, colorblind.
That was why.
Well, if there's anything that you want to add that we didn't talk about here today, I mean, now is your time
Is
to
there anything
shine.
you can tell our viewers that you missed that you would like to share with them?
Yeah, I'd like to share that, this show right here means a lot to, to show really what veterans actually do. There's such a disconnect between civilians and life after war. I think this is amazing to give people insight into the military, or people considering joining the military. They know it's not, the media has created this thing where stigma, like we're all crazy veterans with PTSD and we're all victims and we're all this and that. But you know what? That's not true at all. And we're not all a-holes and we're not all mean and we don't all yell at people.
And we say
we
yes,
have
sir, and yes,
feelings.
ma'am, and we care. So
Exactly.
You mean it. Yeah, when you say it.
Yeah.
Brother,
Thank you so much for having me on this show.
It's been
And
an
I
honor
really
to have you,
appreciate
buddy.
it.
And
Yeah,
once
thank you,
again,
Jordan.
thanks for your service, Jordan.
Absolutely. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your service.
Thanks, brother.
So.
Appreciate that,
All
buddy.
right.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Folks, we just want to say thank you so much to Jordan, and we want to say thank you for Vicki Wagner for being on our show. And if you're a veteran, and if they'd like to be on our show, where can they check us out?
Go to Life After War and emPOWERme.tv.
And we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.